Content. Chapter 1. Introduction. What is rubric? Why use rubrics? Performance assessment. Purpose rubric. Steps to design rubric. Chapter 2. Tips in development rubric. Types of rubric. The parts of rubric. Rubrics for evaluating English test. Advantages and disadvantages of rubric. Chapter 1. Introduction. A set of criteria and performance indicators arranged according to accepted levels of performance. What is rubric? Rubric derived from ruber, the Latin word for red. A rubric is a scoring tool that lays out specific expectations for an assignment. Rubric means a scoring tool that lists the criteria for a piece of work. A rubric is a formative type of assessment because it becomes an ongoing part of the whole teaching and learning process. Why use rubrics? Rubrics help instructors assess assignments consistently from student to student, save time in grading, both short-term and long-term, give timely, effective feedback and promote student learning in a sustainable way. Clarify expectations and components of an assignment for both students and course teaching assistants tasks. Refine teaching methods by evaluating rubric results. Rubrics help students understand expectations and components of an assignment, become more aware of their learning process and progress, improve work through timely and detailed feedback. Rubric, the heart of assessment. Assessment is achieving curricular expectations in scholastic and co-scholastic aspects. Ongoing process. Systematic collection. Provides feedback. Improve learning quality. Ungraded. Quality, value of a performance. Technical and tools of assessment. Examination. Interview. Assessment. Group discussion. Quizzes. Project. Instruments are tools of assessment. Question. Rating scale. Checklist. Grids. Rubric. Rubric. Rubric is an assessment tool. A rubric is a scoring tool. A rubric is a scoring guide used to evaluate performance of a product or a project. Characteristics of good rubrics. Well defined. Contact specific. Finite and compressive. Ordered. Related to common goals, themes. Assessment. Essay exams. Group work. Industrial training. In-class activities. Lab reports. Presentations. Lab work. Participation. Performance. Portfolios. Projects. Self-assessment. Team papers. Steps to design rubric. Identify a learning goal. Choose outcomes that may be measured with a rubric. Develop or adopt on existing rubric. Share it with students. Access or grade. Analyze and report results. A task description or a descriptive title of the task students are expected to produce or perform. A scale and scoring that describes the level of mastery. Example: exceed expectation, meets expectation, doesn't meet expectation. Components are dimensions students are to attend to in completing the assignment or tasks, e.g., types of skills, knowledge, etc. And description of the performance quality. Performance descriptor of the components are dimensions at each level of mastery. Chapter 2. Tips in development rubric. Talk with colleagues. Gather sample rubric. Keep it short and simple. Ideally, the entire rubric fit on one sheet of paper. Each rubric item should focus on a different skill. Focus on how students develop and express their learning. Terms to be used. Needs improvement. Satisfactory. Good. Explanatory. Beginning. Developing accomplished ex-employee. Needs work. Good. Excellent. Novice. Authentic. Proficient. Distinguish. Numeric scale varying from 1 to 5, for example. Types of rubric. Holistic rubric. Analytic rubric. 1. Holistic rubric. Border level assessment. 1 dimensions critical. Summative. SC. Does not provide feedback targeted. Holistic rubric example. Holistic rubric provide a single score based on overall impression of students' performance on a task, overall quality of the writing. 2. Analytic rubric. Narrow level assessment. Different criteria to be assessed. Formative. Difficult to make. Provide targeted feedback. Analytic rubric example. Analytic rubrics provide a specific feedback along several dimensions and descriptor of products. Scoring of individual traits. The parts of rubric. A rubric is a scoring guide used to evaluate performance of product or project. It has 3 parts: performance criteria, inductors, and rating scale. Advantages of rubric. Provide useful feedback on areas of strength and weakness. Criteria can be weighted to reflect the relative importance of each dimension. Disadvantages. Advantages of rubric. Take more time to create and use than a holistic rubric. Unless each point for each criteria is well defined, the raters may not arrive at the same score.